Hi, guys. Welcome back. Yesterday, we visited with Fit and Free Emily. This is Emily. If you remember, she was talking about how being fat or obese really sucked. Today, we're going to watch a part two to that video. And we're also going to jump in the time machine and we're going to see how she looked like about a year later. I think you're going to find this super interesting. This first video is called The Struggle is Real.
Okay, so I never do vlogs in the car because I understand that it's completely dangerous. Um, but I had to, while driving home, quickly talk about what it is like to really fight binging. Like all day today, I have done so good, and I am doing this cleanse thing, and I'm eating really well, and everything is going fine. And all I can think about is I want to go through the McDonald's drive-through and order like 4 fish sandwiches, 2 large fries, and eat them all before I get home, which is 15 miles, which I can totally do. I would not be a problem. And somehow find a way to get rid of the wrappers, probably throwing them out the car. I know. Um, and it's like all I can think about, to the point where like I'm getting upset about it. Like, why can't I do that? Like, don't I deserve to have food that I want? It's so stupid sounding, and it's so hard to explain to people because if you've never dealt with like being addicted to food, it is impossible to explain because people don't understand that it is exactly like a drug. Like my skin gets itchy and I feel like nothing will stop it but food, and not just any food. Like I'm not gonna apple is not gonna make it go away. It's I want to eat a pizza, like a whole pizza right now. And like in my mind, I'm like, what are some ways that I can make that happen and nobody would know? Like I could use my plasma card. I donate plasma and they give you money on a debit card. And like I could easily use that and buy junk. And my husband wouldn't know because it's not coming out of our joint checking account.
How will you be paying for this today, ma'am? Cash or credit? I'm going to use my plasma card.
And it's just, it's so depressing and so sad that I still feel like this. And, I haven't had like a major binging episode in over a year. And but it's like this every day. And you still find yourself doing the little things. I did a blog post um, that I'll link below, about like it starts off really slow. And I can just feel myself this past month, like the little things are coming back in, like, oh, I'm just going to go eat Pop Tarts from the vending machine, and I'm going to go fill up the gas. But while I'm at the gas station, instead of paying at the pump, I'm going to go inside and get some kind of disgustingly delicious gas station food. Gross.
I've eaten some gas station food before. I would never describe it as delicious, right? What would you guys describe it as? Very average, right? Maybe even a little below average. But they do have these amazingly good banana bread little frosted cakes and carrot cakes and QT. If you guys have ever had one of those, let me know. Absolutely love those.
But like, that's what I want. And I have no self control. And it is so frustrating. The other day, I had 3 things from the vending machine. This was like a week ago: baked potato skin chips, regular chips, and strawberry frosted Pop Tarts. That is ridiculous. I don't know. It's a constant struggle. And I know it's why I haven't been super successful in my weight loss efforts. Like, I feel like I gained all this knowledge on how to eat better, and I love working out. I really do. And, I love doing things like the Avocare 10-day cleanse that I just started. Like, I love the way my body feels when it's properly hydrated and I'm eating well and I'm, taking good supplements, and I just feel great. And then it's like, it doesn't matter. It's like, maybe I don't feel like I deserve to feel great. And so the second I start feeling great, I just don't want it anymore. I don't know why I can't just like allow myself to succeed.
It's always sad whenever you see people get a little emotional and sad about things, right? So, just a quick question. Do you like your Pop Tarts cold or do you like to put them in the toaster so they're warm? I'm one of these guys, I like to eat them cold. If you like Pop Tarts cold, let me know down in the comments. No, I'm not trying to trigger you. Just want to know if you like Pop Tarts cold or not. I told you guys this is a special show. Today we're going to be going in the time machine. So, she decided after talking to her doctors and such that she needed to go through weight loss surgery. Okay. And I can't wait to show you her results. What do you guys think? Check this out. This is her 8 months after weight loss surgery. She decided to go ahead and get the surgery done. Let's see what she has to say.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Fit and Free. Emily, that's me. It has been a really long time since I've done a video on this channel. I was looking through my uploads and realized the last update I did was at 3 months, which I can't believe the time has gone by this fast. So anyway, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Emily. I am doing this update as 8 months out from gastric bypass, Roux-en-Y surgery. I had it on June 26th or 7th, I believe. I am down 126 pounds as of this morning, and I feel amazing. I have posted about this a lot on Instagram, which is where I do most of my updates and documenting of my journey. It's Fit and Free Emily _RNY. I posted a lot about this over there, but I'm at a hotel right now for a conference. I'm actually getting ready to leave and go back home. And this is the same place where I filmed my, I'm going to have surgery announcement video 1 year ago. So the full circle of this whole thing has really hit me hard in a good way. I was so sad and so just hoping that I wouldn't fail at it. I think I still believed in the back of my mind that I would never be able to find something that would work for me. I would never be able to find a tool that would allow me to move more, to, have better eating habits, to quiet the obsessive thoughts about food in my mind, to help with my binge eating disorder. I've failed at absolutely every diet and every doctor prescribed medication and solution over the past 20 years of my life. And I'm very happy to say that that is not the case and that I'm doing very, very well. I cannot imagine what my life would be like right now if I hadn't had surgery. I feel happy every day. And I feel so grateful every single day. And yeah, you guys know me, I cry all the time, but it is a really deeply emotional thing to be able to feel like you're finally fitting in the world, both like literally fitting in things.
I like when people get emotional when they talk because then you feel like they're being real and genuine. Now, I know there's some good actors out there that can cry on cue, right? But with her, you just feel like you're getting genuine emotion, and that's all you can ask out of a YouTuber. That's awesome.
And, metaphorically, into my own skin and my own body, and to feel like I'm finally kind of becoming the person that I always thought I was or knew I could be. I still have a ways to go. Obviously, I am at like 203? So close to Wonderland. Counting down the seconds till I hit Wonderland. And at that point, I don't really know how much I want to lose. I'm noticing now, especially now that I'm losing weight, my bones are quite large. I have a very large, shoulders. I have not super large hips, but I have a big rib cage. And I'm, almost 5'8". So I have no idea what a healthy weight is going to be for me. I've never been small enough to know.
5'8", female. I'm thinking 140-ish to 160-ish. Let us know in the comments what you think.
I'm guessing somewhere around the 140 to 160 range is where I'll wind up. But who knows? And I'm okay with that. I said a couple weeks ago, if I never lost any more weight at this point, I think I'd be okay, because I can do all of the things that I want to do. I'm running almost every single day. I don't like running, but I'm doing it. I'm getting really into yoga and having a really strong yoga practice, which has been so helpful for my mind as well as my body. I love dancing. I love just being active with my kid. I Life is really good. And I think that's why it's been hard for me to do updates, for a couple of reasons. One, it's kind of boring to say, everything's fine, see you later. And also, I do feel not an obligation, but a little bit of a guilt, or I have a lot of friends who are still struggling with weight loss, and I've did that for a very long time, and I do feel a little guilty losing weight and being successful at this, because I know that if the roles were reversed, I would feel very jealous. I would feel very frustrated that somebody I like and love and care about or look up to or whatever was succeeding at something that I wasn't. And I'm not sure how to say that without sounding weird about it, but I hope that you guys understand.
I think I do understand. Imagine if you had a guy friend or a girlfriend, right? And they were naturally kind of big with you, and you go to the movies with them, you go shopping, you do everything with them, and then all of a sudden you're in a different world. Do you keep your friend? Do you let go of your friend? Do you grow apart from your friend? My thinking is you try your darndest to keep the relationship going because friends are few and far in between. Tell me what your thoughts are in the comment.
What I'm saying, it's just a very strange dynamic, and relationships with friends can change, and relationships with your partner can change. Family members, all of that is different because I'm different, and I'm no longer the fat funny friend. I'm no longer the biggest girl in the room. People notice me more, which is weird. People notice me less, which is I'm okay with that. So that's probably a whole nother video about change in relationships and things like that. But everything is really good. And my family has been really supportive, and my husband and I are amazing. And everything is really good.
That is awesome sauce, isn't it? A lot of times I show doom and gloom on here, but I want you guys to know that I actually like seeing people that are successful in the endeavors that they partake in, right? Or embark on, I should say. I think this is wonderful, guys. Listen, some people have to go through a surgery. Some people are able to kind of avoid surgeries. If you're in a situation where you're kind of on the fence and you'd like to see if you can still avoid it, then go get your shoes. Let's go for a walk. Today's thought for the day is, what if everything changed just like that? I just saw a story on YouTube, pretty new story. I think it happened within the last 24 hours, where apparently a vehicle of some sort, I think it was an SUV, but don't quote me on that, crashed through a nail salon, guys, in Deer Park, Long Island, which is obviously in New York, right? And 4 people died, 9 people injured. You guys have all seen nail salons before, right? They usually go from front to back, and you can usually pile in a handful of people in there getting their manicures done, right? And apparently this vehicle went all the way from the front end of the store all the way to the back end, right? The reason I say that is because a lot of times when we see a vehicle plow into a storefront, a lot of times half the vehicle is outside and half the vehicle is inside, right? And maybe there's a handful of injuries. But this was a situation where it was bad. 4 deaths, 9 injuries. On the 9 injuries, I don't know if any of them are life-threatening or if they're stable condition or what. But either way, imagine you go to a nail salon. A lot of times girlfriends will do that together, right? They'll go and get their nails done together. Could you imagine if you were involved in that situation where all of a sudden you get a phone call and you realize that your sister and her best friend have, been horribly injured or even passed away in such a situation? What do you do with the driver of the vehicle? Here's the interesting thing on top of it all from a scary movie point of view. Was this guy just your roundabout drunk guy that drove through a storefront? Was he having a bad day and decided to take his rage out on a bunch of strangers? Was he maybe a terrorist or something? Is he a government foreign entity that's just decided to do harm? I'm thinking more than likely it's just a guy that's probably been affected by drugs or alcohol in some way, shape, or form. But you never know. Sometimes people get angry. Somebody inside that nail salon might be their arch enemy, right? Somebody in that nail salon might have been a boyfriend or a girlfriend of the person that drove through the salon itself. And for all we know, they might have been trying to hurt that one person. And in their rage, they ended up hurting multiple people. But anyway, a lot of you ladies have probably been in nail salons hundreds of times throughout your life, right? Have you ever been in a situation where something like that happened? I'm guessing not. There's a nail salon by my grocery store that I like to go to every day, my Fry's grocery store. And about 4 or 5 months ago, they had a situation where they had a break-in. And I believe it was, one of the ne'er-do-wells in the neighborhood that broke in there and held them up by gunpoint for their money that they made that day. And it's just, gosh, I hate hearing stories like that. But at the same time, this particular story with the vehicle crashing through the nail salon, I've just never heard of such a thing. Of course I've heard of vehicles crashing into buildings, but like I said, usually it's an accident where, maybe a grandma accidentally hit the gas going forward instead of putting their car in reverse. It's usually a driver error type situation. But I don't know how this could possibly be driver error, considering they didn't stop. They just kept right on going. So I guess the thought for the day is, whenever you leave for the end of the day, make sure you tell everybody you love them, because nobody quite knows what tomorrow brings, and nobody knows what the next hour brings, So in that regard, I feel bad for the people that passed away. To all their family members, we wish you the absolute best. I'm sorry that you're going through this, but once again, this just proves that there's going to be another 13 families out there that have to, kind of have a crappy weekend because this one person had to do this horrible crime. And I think we can all agree. Oh, and by the way, the driver's perfectly safe. Isn't that crazy how a lot of times the one person that survives is the bad guy? Gosh, I don't know what it is about this world, but it seems to me like the bad guy, man, he always wins. And is Dale and Karen the bad guy? No, not at all. That's not what I'm talking about when it comes to the bad guy. I'm talking about something about this world over the last 10, 15 years. Seems like it's really gone over to the bad guy. And I feel like the good guys are becoming less and less. Or maybe it's just that the good guys don't make the TV as much, But the bad guys always make the TV. the bad guys always get the girls, and the bad guys always do the stuff that makes everybody else miserable, and we all seem to be okay with it. So, moving on. So now that we've gotten that little bit of bad news out of the way, I would like to talk to the new venters about what today represents. Today represents day 15. And day 15 is one of those days that I asked you to give me. At the beginning of our journey together, I said, hey, give me 15 to 21 days. Because in 15 to 21 days, you can start to establish a habit or a routine that your body will start to become accustomed to. So if you've legitimately, been walking with me the last 2 weeks, you might find yourself in a situation where you're starting to walk a little bit faster. You might find that you're starting to walk a little bit longer, and you also might find that despite the heat, you don't mind it nearly as much as you did the first couple of days. Now, on the flip side, some of you guys might have been taking mental walks with us more than physical walks. So what I would urge you to do today is, hey, you still haven't given me those 15 to 21 days. Before we get to day 40, 50, or 60, why don't we see if we can make today that first day where you put your shoes on and you get outside to walk? At the end of yesterday's video, I started talking to people about extra credit. So to my venters that have been with me since day one, what I'd like you to contemplate is the idea of maybe doing a little bit more extra credit. Maybe this is the month where maybe you start to incorporate a couple of calisthenics. Do some push-ups and some leg lunges, and you can start it really, really slow. You guys know the beauty of Kaizen and the beauty of baby steps. You could start with as little as 2 to 4 leg lunges a day, building up 1 or 2 leg lunges a week, right? And before you know it, after a month or so, you'll have yourself a nice little routine where you're doing 10 to 20 leg lunges each and every day. That'll really start to give good form to the lower half of your body. Additionally, to the lunges, if you can start doing a handful of sit-ups or a handful of push-ups a day, again, with the goal to start small, you could start with as little as 2 to 4 push-ups a day. And if you could just slowly but surely get to the point where at the end of the month or the end of the 2 or 3 months, you're starting to do closer to 10, 15, or even 20 push-ups a day, in addition to those leg lunges we just mentioned. And before you know it, you've got a good little routine that not only is working on your weight, that's your walking part of your routine, not only is working on getting you less calories, that's the water and the avoiding sugar part of your routine, but now you're starting to build a little bit of muscle, right? And you're starting to retain muscle. So that might cause a situation where for the next couple weeks, you might not necessarily have a lot of dramatic drops in weight, because as you're losing fat, you're starting to gain a little bit of muscle. Another thing that you guys can do if you've been walking with me for a long time, this is one of those things that I've been doing a lot lately. Grab yourself a pair of wrist weights and put them on your wrist and just kind of punch at the air. You want to do some jabs, you want to do some uppercuts, you want to do some left and right crosses, right? And you want to get to the point where you can punch the air with your wristband weights, your wrist weights, or if you don't have wrist weights, if you have a small little 1-pound dumbbell, and you can buy those at Walmart for like $4 a piece, okay? So they're not super expensive. And if you don't want to go to Walmart, you can go to your local thrift store or Goodwill and probably get the 2 of them for $2 or $3. So not anything expensive, not anything super heavy. You don't want to leave them lying around on the floor, because believe me, you will end up kicking them. And if you end up kicking a hard dumbbell, you could end up being out of walking for a handful of days. So make sure that if you do keep them on the floor, you slide them underneath your bed or underneath a table where you'll make sure you don't kick them. But if you do slide them underneath the desk or table, you probably will end up kicking them someday. So again, be careful. But again, ladies and gentlemen, if you just get a small weight you're going to be able to punch at the air, and literally after 2 or 3 minutes, you're going to feel like you had the best arm workout you could imagine. And if you can start to combine exercises like go from your 10 or 15 push-ups a day right into punching the air with weights on for, let's say 3 or 4 minutes. It's not really one of those things that you want to do for a half hour or 45 minutes. If you can do it, by all means, give it a try. But again, if you just kind of punch the air with these wrist weights, you'll end up being amazed. One of the things that amazes me is how puffy I was in my upper body and how not so puffy I feel now. I think some of you guys have told me that you guys can see the difference that happened with me. What I would say is that probably means that a lot of you guys are just a couple of weeks away from seeing some big difference yourselves. If you guys are new, one of the things that I like to tell people is, hey, it takes 2 or 3 weeks to get you addicted to walking, but that's not where the story ends. It legitimately takes most people about 45 to 60 days before they start to see any weight loss. So if you've been walking with me for 15 days and you're thinking, hey, I'm only a day or two away from this starting to kick in and take effect, it's not really going to work that way. As a matter of fact, if you were to jump on the scale right now, there's a chance that you weigh not only the same, but there's actually a chance you might have gained a pound. Now, I can tell you that that's water weight, or there's a chance that you've gained some muscle, right? And I can even tell you that you got to look at your victories in other ways, like, hey, are you losing waist size? Is your waist going from a size 40 to a size 38? And are you slowly but surely getting more healthy? You've got to look for victories off the scale. The scale is not necessarily your friend for the first month or two. And for a lot of you folks that have been with us for, the full 3.5 months, if you've only seen 3 or 4 pounds drop off, number one, that's better than seeing 3 or 4 pounds gain, right? So let's try to look at it from a positive point of view. Number two, not everybody is in it to do all 3 phases of our program. Some people, believe it or not, don't care about their weight, and I don't mean this in a negative way. Some people just want to start a walking routine. If you like the idea of walking with me, but you have no interest in drinking just water and no interest in cutting your sugar, well, don't stress about it. Just start a walking routine with me. Just know that if you walk and don't cut your sugar and don't affect your diet in any way, shape, or form, you're probably still going to lose a handful of pounds, let's say 8 to 10 pounds over the course of a year. And don't belittle that. Don't poo-poo that. That's huge, because the average person, when they get through the holidays at the end of the year, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's, a lot of people end up gaining 3 to 5 pounds a year. So if you can avoid that 3 to 5 pounds, and simply by walking with us every day, if you can get to the point where you lose 8 pounds a year, guys, that's a huge victory. And if you walk up to 90 or 120 minutes a day, right, an hour and a half to 2 hours, you'll probably still end up losing 15 to 20 pounds. But again, if you're not willing to eat better and you're not willing to quit the sodas or the alcohol, then you're probably not going to lose huge amounts. But again, just walking alone can really help you maintain and get through the holidays. And it wouldn't be bad to start now, considering the 4th of July is one of those holidays where a lot of people probably gain a pound or 2 from all the family outings that we go to and all the hot dogs and hamburgers that we devour this time of year. So just something to think about. I'd like to really quick hit on the subject of seasons, because believe you, you're unbelievable. Believe me when I tell you that I am the only fitness channel where you're going to hear something like the word seasons, where you're going to hear something like the word Kaizen. Kaizen is baby steps. We've gone over that a handful of times, but 3 months ago, closer to 4 months ago, a lot of my regular venters weren't really into their walking routines. Some of them had stumbled upon walking. Some of them were contemplating the idea of ditching walking because they didn't know if it worked or not, because some of them were walking for 3 or 4 weeks and hadn't really noticed anything, right? But I explained to them the same thing that I'm going to explain to you now. You're coming off of a season where you weren't a walker, where you didn't necessarily look to drink water first, and where you didn't necessarily say no to all the sweets and all the junk food that's out there. Now you're 2 weeks into your new season. Now you're slowly becoming a walker. And for the venters that have been with me, you are a walker now. So when I tell the venters that have been here a while that, hey, how can we add a little extra credit? How can we add push-ups and sit-ups and maybe some mild weightlifting to our routine in a baby step way so it doesn't annoy us and make us feel like, oh, Jesse's piling stuff on us? So to my venters, I had to change my battery, of course. But look, it gives me a chance to walk through the park so you can see the beautiful greenish, yellowish grass. This time of year, things get dry really quick, including the grass that's watered every day. It still gets yellow and dry. It's so hot and warm and lacking moisture. So today's hot as all heck, but for some reason it doesn't feel as humid and sticky today, which is a good thing. But anyway, back to what I was saying, guys, with seasons, it's so important. If you're in season 2 with me, that means that you've already done the challenging thing. You've already gotten used to your walking routine. You've already incorporated water, and you've already started cutting back on your sugar. But again, if we take it to the next level, add a little calisthenics, put some wristband weights on your wrists and punch at the air for a couple of minutes each night. If you don't have any interest in doing that, you just wanted to walk with me, then just walk with me. It's no big deal. But just know that if you really want to push the boundaries and you want to try to lose as much weight as you possibly can, the key is not maintaining where you are. The key is always trying to see if there's some place where you can improve what it is you're doing. Remember, muscle is far more efficient than fat. So as you do push-ups and sit-ups and leg lunges and these various calisthenics or weight training situations and routines, what you're going to notice is that as you're sleeping, you're going to start burning a few more calories than when you normally go to sleep as somebody that doesn't have so much muscle. So do you have to become Arnold Schwarzenegger or Mr. T? Of course not. Just do a couple push-ups and sit-ups, and I think you'll be amazed that when you start, just doing a handful of push-ups can feel darn near impossible. But as you continue to grow and continue to apply baby steps, you're going to get a little bit more stronger. Back to the new venters. 3 months ago, when my older venters that have been here for a while were starting to become walkers, you were probably finishing off your last diet and exercise plan that didn't necessarily work, because I assume if they worked like a charm, you wouldn't necessarily be walking with me. And here's the crazy thing to all the venters. We might not have a single new venter that is walking with us. There's something about this time of year that just screams to people to quit working out, to quit walking, right? That's where you got to try to be strong, because let me ask you guys a question. What if you had been walking for the last 9 months and you notice that you're losing a whole bunch of weight and you feel great, and now the summer's upon us? You wouldn't even think about quitting in that scenario, right? So a lot of times when we're brand new and we haven't gone through that weight loss yet, you go outside, it's 100+ degrees, it's humid, hot, and miserable. God, you know how easy it is to say, nah, not today, maybe tomorrow. And trust me, every day is going to get hotter for the next month or so, right? So when it comes to working out, there is no tomorrow. And why did I bring up the story earlier about the vehicle crashing through the nail salon? Because a lot of those people were planning on having a tomorrow. There is no tomorrow for a lot of those people. There is no tomorrow for starting a diet and exercise plan. Tomorrow never comes. So again, if you want to take inspiration off of the venters that have been here for a while, guys, we've been walking every single day. When you're new, that sounds so daunting, but If it was a video game, Candy Crush, you guys have the ability to invest half an hour every day into little games on your phone. You guys have the ability to invest half an hour every single hour on checking out what your friends are doing on Facebook. There's nothing stopping you from checking out what your friends are doing on Facebook. Just do it while you're walking, right? You can still sit here with your head glued to your phone, but the thing that I would tell you and recommend is put your phone away and keep your head on a swivel, because you never know if you're walking right up to a really, suspicious character in the neighborhood. You never know if you're getting ready to walk into a street with a person that's driving fast and they're not paying attention, and they could hit you. And by the way, car and pedestrian accidents, those are the worst, and those happen every single day. And guess who's the victim? People that are walking. So again, if you're thinking about taking a walking routine, just know your odds of a car accident might be going up for all I know. Probably not, Usually if you're not in a car, your odds of a car accident are probably going down. But again, your odds of being in a car fatality probably do go up a little bit. Let's not think about that, definitely.